Okay, we have a 2021 Honda Odyssey here. If your seat's in the back, either one, when you pull the strap here, if it doesn't unlock from the floor, it's a fairly simple fix, but it's a very common problem in the vehicles. The engineering of a particular component is insufficient for the weight of this seat. So the metal becomes soft, or it's soft metal, and it eventually just fails. So what do? This is a little plastic kind of clip that slips up under here, under this thing right here. So just pull this off a little bit, lift it up, and then you'll see a zipper right here. You see the zipper? Okay, there's a zipper, and I have it zipped. You want to zip it up to about there. So you just kind of unzip this, and then you just fold it up, okay, like this. And then here you have 3 10mm bolts. You have one there, and one there, okay? We're gonna undo those 3 10mm bolts. You can use a socket wrench for that, or whatever. I'm gonna use this guy, just to be quick about it, okay? So we're gonna undo those. Okay, you don't want to lose those. Don't let them drop down into the seat. Might be difficult to find them otherwise. And we're going to take those out real quick. And I'm going to show you where this component, where it actually fails. Okay. See, I already lost that one. Okay. We're going to unclip this guy right here. So from here, just remove it like that. Okay. And then we can just move this to the side. Now, where does it fail? Here's where it fails, right here, okay? Now, metal fatigue. So the weight of the seat is to a point where this cradle, okay, for the cable ball end, see the little ball at the end? It's supposed to sit inside this cradle, so there's a little gap at the top, and you can slip the wire in so that the ball sits in the cradle. Well, this metal is soft, and it's supple and pliable, and it bends, and you can see it's deformed outwards, so it's kind of flared outwards, and it flares out just enough so that the cable slips out. So that's your number one problem. You can bend it back into shape with a pair of pliers, but within 1 to 2 or 3 weeks, because the metal's soft, it's going to bend back. So there's a couple ways that you can fix this, and I'll talk about that in a second. But one thing I want to tell you is that this one component right here, this piece, is not replaceable. You cannot order this part. It is only sold with the entire seat back assembly. So this entire seat back assembly. And that ranges from $600 to $800. And if you hire the dealership, for example, to replace it, they're going to charge you about $1,200 to $1,500 total with labor. And the other thing that you want to know is that this is absolutely not covered under warranty. If you have the best warranty that money can buy on the vehicle, it's still not covered. And I know that because I've already talked about this with the dealership. So your option, your best option, if you want to save money, is to fix it yourself. Should there be a recall for this? Yes. Should there be a technical service bulletin? Yes. Should there be a replacement part or a fix that Honda has to create? Yes. Because seats are very important in the vehicle. And for the seat to be malfunctioning in this way is not acceptable. Especially because if the seat comes down and it's like this, you can't really do anything about it unless you take the seat apart and you undo, the cable. Mostly it's moms driving these vehicles. No mom is going to want to figure out how to do this or deal with it, okay? So it's a big problem. Now, let's talk about fixing this. So the first thing we want to do is we want to bend this back into shape with a pair of pliers so that it's in the right shape. And then there are a couple options. Could you detach all the cables from this, and could you heat this red hot with a blowtorch, right? And retemper the steel. Heat it hot, dive it into an icy cold bath of water, do that 2 or 3 times. That will re-temper the steel, realign the molecules tightly, and it may actually hold its shape. But that's also kind of a pain because you have to detach all these cables. You probably have to detach this and so you can effectively heat this with a blowtorch, etc. You're going to get heat dissipation into the rest of the unit here. You may not be able to heat it up enough because there'll be too much dissipation. I don't know, but it's an option, right? The next option is to get little steel washers like this. Okay, I think this is a 5/16 inch steel washer. After you bend it back into shape, you can use, there's a product they sell it at most hardware stores, and I'll put a link in the description to it. It's called JB Weld, and it's specifically designed, it's an epoxy for steel and aluminum, okay? Iron, steel, stainless steel, aluminum, etc. And it's for bonding steel together. And anyway, here's the JB Weld right here, and I'll put a link in the description to pick this up here. Steel reinforced epoxy. This is JB Weld original cold weld formula. So if you're not going to tack weld, this is what you're going to use, and that'll work great. So what you'll do is you'll clean up the surface here really, really good, and your washer with a degreaser, okay? A solvent, kind of like starting fluid, parts degreaser, electronic cleaner, mass airflow sensor cleaner, anything like that you get at the auto parts store. Then clean it up with rubbing alcohol. Give it a light sand, and then you can use JB Weld, and you can weld a washer, okay, right onto here like this, okay? So you see where I have the washer lined up like that? You can use JB Weld, and you can affix the washer. Now it has a 4 to 6 hour kind of interim curing time and a full 24-hour cure time. So you'll have to wait for it to cure. JB Weld is good, or you can use a MIG Welder, and you can tack weld it, right? So you can put this washer on here, hold it on there with a pair of vice grips, and tack weld it in probably 2 or 3 places very quickly. So I just rented from Home Depot this MIG Welder right here. It's the 125 HD MIG Welder, 120 volts. It plugs into your standard outlet. If you're going to run an extension cord on this, you're going to want to use a 12 gauge extension cord. So it does come with 0.35 inch, 0.9 millimeter weld wire. This is flux core wire, so you do not need argon gas mixture. You can weld with this wire straight up. It does splatter a little bit more, but essentially we're going to use this guy right here, and we're going to spot weld, and I'll kind of show you what that looks like. But it'll be pretty easy because that's a real tiny wire there to spot weld where we need to spot weld. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. Here's our ground strap. We're going to attach this to that chassis, and we're going to get her done. Okay, we have both seats done. So I just made, you can use a washer for this, like I mentioned, number 8 zinc or stainless washer. I just used a little piece of galvanized sheet metal, cut it out, put it on here, and I just kind of tack welded it all the way around. But let me see if we can come over here and see this one. That's what it looks like on there. Okay, so it's not the best tack welding job, but also very difficult. It's small. It's really hard to weld things that are really tiny like this. But it's on there. I mean, it ain't going anywhere. And you can see, and I'll just flip over to this side so you can see, the channel is still accessible for your cable to go in and your ball to go in there. But this little bracket that we put at the top should keep it from bending and flaring. So that should solve the problem. Yeah. So here's what it looks like with the cable reinstalled. Okay. So the ball is in there. Okay, there's your ball. It's there. Here's what it looks like. So we had to detach this. It goes into the center, right here into the center, but we had to detach it from right there so that we can get enough slack to get the ball back in, and then we reattach this guy.